Thanks for staying with us now. From the 8th of October 2020, the protest under the hashtag EndSARS started in Lagos and grew into a large movement at various locations in Lagos across the country, principally targeted towards drawing attention to the ubiquitous incidents of police brutality, that's a culture of impunity and poor working conditions of police officers. One of the demands from the protesters was the setting up of judicial panel of inquiry to investigate cases of police brutality. Lagos State government obliged this request on the 15th of October 2020 and set up the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry into victims of police brutality and other related matters, which was inaugurated on the 19th of October 2020. Its main term of reference was to look into cases of police brutality and other related matters and award compensations to successful petitions. Now, since the submission of the EndSARS panel report to the Lagos State Governor of the state, right, on the 15th of November 2021, members of the panel have been subjected to vicious attack, as I had mentioned earlier, by those suspected to be agents of the government. All manners of allegations have been heaped upon the members, and some of whom have been called unprintable names. As we review this report, right, what are our expectations as people from the government based on the submission of the panel? Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. All right, so I want to quickly come to AK and Milola before I bring in Nasa. What are your expectations, given that this report has come out and it seems like from the presidency all the way, right, to the state government, you know, everybody somehow has been indicted in this report. What are your expectations?
As in Nigeria, my expectations will be, I don't know, expect some kind of wonder that would exonerate the government from what they've been accused of. And it wouldn't really surprise me if there is already there's a lot going on to discredit the report and the people that actually put the report together. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that become the focus and then the report itself takes a backseat.
How about you, Milola?
I, for one, was very shocked to see the report. I actually didn't expect that kind of information would make public. I would expect that this report had gone through the people that set up the panel, and they could have tried to navigate around what they present to the public. For once, to show that we can actually do things right in this country if we want to. But how well we follow this through is what actually states if we're actually a country that is going in the right direction. I was shocked to see that they could actually put it out there public that people were massacred, because that's actually what it confirmed. You know, we're made to believe that we're just crying wolf, that what happened wasn't as bad as we made it out to be, and that we're just creating, that was when fake news became most rampant. And it's unfortunate that our fake news turned out to be real truth of the state of the country. And I'm wondering what is the next thing now, post this? Because just like she said, we're not just looking at, okay, now we were not expecting that panel would actually produce something. And they did 1 year post the protest. Now what?
And you know the funny thing about that report? When I read it, they just read everything that all the people accused the government of. You remember people like the Fowles, they kept on insisting that it was a massacre. And the government kept on saying, no, there was no such thing. Can there be massacre without a dead body? So when the report came out and it was verbatim, word for word, like reiterating everything that we heard from 20th of October 2020, it just got me thinking, like, well, I'm happy you said that, because I was actually shocked that they would actually allow it
to come out. That was my shock.
The thing with government normally is that those kind of reports, they die.
It never makes
I'm buried.
So it might have been the process through which the report, was made public. So maybe it didn't actually go through maybe the usual way to get an approval of some sort. So maybe the committee had some autonomy over its report and didn't need the final approval
of the executive or
yeah,
whoever
we
is
set up
in-
the committee to be able
that,
to
that
do
makes sense. All right, so let me bring in Chinasa. She's a friend of the house. Chinasa Winifred Amaechi is the founder of Mind to Mind Initiative, an organization established with the aim of providing mentoring platforms and opportunity for young Nigerians. And she's joined us to review this report. Again, we had to bring her back again. Thank you so much, Chinasa, for joining us this evening. All right, so, I mean, you heard our conversation. So, first of all, what came to your mind when you saw that report? Because it's not for lack of what you did not already know. You know, for people like you that have been inside the caucus of the conversation, you saw a lot of things that night. I mean, I was having a conversation with you on how you were traumatized. You are still traumatized. You know, some of your people that were there that night still, you know, they still feel that trauma till tomorrow, you know. So when that report came, was that a big relief for you, or how did it make you feel?
Okay, that morning when the news came on, you know, I went on TV, I put on the TV to, you know, listen to it on channels. Throughout that day I was a bit emotional because I felt, this is victory at last. So I literally started calling, you know, everybody involved, you know, because at some point they made us felt as if we're insane, as if we don't know what we're talking about, as if not even talking about, as if we don't know what we experienced.
What you saw,
you know, that night. And I remember talking to one of the news casters, and I told him, I said, the spirit of the dead will, you know, eventually haunt him. You know, for you to have the audacity, you know, to come up on air and say nobody died, you know, and if anybody died, where are their parents? Why are they not coming out? You know, when on that day we were there, you know, we saw a lot of things that happened. We saw the way they pushed some bodies into the water, you know, beside the rental hotel there. We saw vans, you know, military vans, you know, they moved a lot of people into those vans. You know, we saw blood. We saw the way the Loma, you know, came the next day, because I was
inside the report that Loma came the next day to sweep the entire thing clean.
I had to sweep
Well, that sounds like a wicked plan, like it's a scheme.
You know, it's premeditated.
That's my thought, exactly.
Do you understand? Because they came and they were just splashing water, you know. I can still remember the guy that I attended to. You know, this guy came with his car, his resources. We were there for so many days, and this guy just died. They took his car, they took his phone, you know. And that guy till tomorrow, we are unable to reach his family because we don't know anything about him.
Wow, that's
And I'm sure his family must have been trying his number. I attended to him, you know, one-on-one at Reddington Hospital, you know, and that guy died. In fact, I had to open, the guy was shot in the brain, in the middle of his head, and his head opened. You know, that's even one out of so many that happened that day, you know, and this has made me, you know, stayed away from so many functions because I keep remembering and I keep asking, does this government even have conscience? Because I remember that night when, you know, AY stepped down from the stage, and it was not up to 45 minutes. We saw like 3 army officers. They came with a bike, and we tried to stop them because there's an exit, there's an entrance, you know, at the toll gate. And the guy was like, oh, no, we are not here for anything. We are just, you know, and before we knew it, they called the other people, and they were just coming. And I still remembered when, you know, because I was part of the people coordinating the stage, you know, with DJ Switch, with a guy called Bishop, you know, a lot of us there on the stage. And we just say, everybody should just sit on the floor. Everybody sit down, raise the flag, you know, and everybody raised the flag. I mean, everybody raised the flag, and the shooting began.
Wow, this brought is very close back to home. Like, I was not on the protest ground, but all we saw were feeds from Instagram and all of that. Hearing a description of the entire event just makes us replay those videos, and I remember the panic and the terror with which DJ Switch was doing the video. Really, what is life worth in this country?
In fact, when DJ Switch was doing that video, I remember there's some army activists. Where's the DJ? They don't even know her, but her name has been given to them.
Wow.
Where's DJ Switch? Where's DJ Switch? She had to pass In fact, he has to pass through the backstage.
Wow.
You know, if not, that girl would have been dead. Because they kept asking, where's the district? Where's the district? Then some said, NSAS, Abi, you don't want NSAS, and they were just busting brains.
Oh,
Wow.
So now let's go back to this report, because it seemed like it was insanity, like you rightly said. It seemed like somebody was trying to deliberately brainwash people to say what, I mean, to
change the
repeal,
narrative.
yes, to repeal what they saw, not because it was almost like you are lying, right? How can there be this? How can there be that? I mean, because I remember watching, and was he watching an interview or listening to DJ Switch, when she talked about packing the empty
bullets, the shells of
the bullet, that they had to start packing it because they saw that the military guys were
trying to remove evidence
removing
from
almost
site.
all the evidence, so they had to start packing. So it seemed like all of a sudden, I mean, first of all, I know how Instagram work. You can't say somebody is doing a live video with that magnitude of everything that we saw, and you said there was a green screen there. You know, so it does not make any sense, right? So now that this report is out, what are the expectations? Because white paper is supposed to be out tomorrow. From the calculations, is it not up to 2 weeks now?
No, it's not
or when is the white paper? When is it
next
expected?
week.
Next week, right?
Next week, yeah.
So the white paper is supposed to be out. What are the expectations that we should be expecting from the government, and so that when we do not see it, we start to demand for those things?
Well, to me, I don't. I'm not expecting much, but at the same time, we're watching how everything's going to play out, because everything that happened on that day has been rightly stated in that report. So it's only a government that has conscience that will do the right thing. So we expect the government to do the right thing, because the consequences will not be, good, because it's going to go as far as, going to, international community, because even the CNN right now, they're demanding an apology, from our Minister Alhaji Lai Mohammed, for discrediting their report. Because we had CNN on ground on that day, we had BBC, we had channels, we had Plus TV, we had a lot of stations on ground for those 10 to 11 days that we were there. So I really expect the government to do the right thing, because even for the president to leave it to the state government to decide, to me, that's like shedding away from his responsibility.
It's just passing the buck.
Do you understand? Because he has the veto power, to sanction. And we need to know, we demand to know who gave the order.
Okay, so as in when you were recounting, your incident, I can still feel that you are reliving that moment. I recall, I was not at the target, but I recall when I heard that news, I just broke down and I started crying. I said, for no reason. And my children saw me and they were like asking, why are you crying? I just couldn't help it that, someone that left their home will never come back, will never get back home. Their parents will never know what happened to them. Some people till now, their parents will suspect. So there is no closure. And we have seen the report. I think from the report when I looked at it, it's about 12 deceased people. But do you think we will ever know the true number for that day? But do you think that really we would have that report
numbers
really
of people that
reflects
died,
the real
judging
number
from
of
your
people?
explanation?
Although it did say they listed some, but do you think that this is even near
When
the
I
number?
saw the report, or when I heard about the report didn't carry the exact number of people that died. It didn't, but I really commend Lagos State and also the
work
people
that
that was carried out, but that's not the exact number of people that died, because the number of people that died were more than that. Some didn't die at once, and I remember someone calling me and sending almost 20 emerald ambulances. I pray, I just pray for the owner of the Emerald Ambulances company, that God will bless him. Because even when they try to stop ambulances from entering to pick bodies, those guys still stood out, and still carried a lot of them. I have pictures for evidence, and they still followed us to Reddington, took some bodies, In fact, there were some that had bullets in their head, some in their arm. You know, the Reddington gave them some treatment, first aid treatment, and when they left Reddington, they took them to other hospital. And it's a fact that even some people in government still trace them to all the hospitals where they were taken to, and was trying to track them and ordered some hospitals not to treat them, and of which so those hospitals, you know, adhered to that, but Reddington refused, and some of them died in the process with the bullet.
You know what? Let's take a break.
Sounds like a movie. It didn't sound like something that should ever happen.
In fact, they even had to stop some of us, and they were asking, you know, they were asking for your phone, you know, with force in front of Reddington Hospital in Lekki Phase 1, you know, and they will just take your phone, see if there are pictures, live pictures, they will start deleting it.
Wow.
So, yes, some they seize their phones, you know, and some of them called up to me. I also want to thank Pastor Tony Rapo because he gave his church, you know, as a place because I took over 30 people to his church.
Okay, that's the President House.
Yes.
You know what?
They
You know what? Let's take a break. Let's just take a very short break. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having a very sober chat with Chinasa as we review the panel report from the Lagos inquiry panel for the NSAS protest. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. We have some messages. I just want us to quickly read them.
Okay. So we have from Bobby Kennedy, Jalingo. Respect should be given to the Lagos State government for a job well done, especially the woman that headed the committee. She's a strong woman like what you ladies are doing on Plus TV. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have another comment? Okay, so
on a different climb, the minister of Laila, the minister of Laila should be in Kirikiri now. That was my comment. I thought I was going to read like Mohammed when I saw something else.
And this person also says the report of DJ Switch has come to reality. Now, let's come back to that because, I mean, I remember watching an interview, and that's why I cannot exonerate the governor of Lagos State. I'm sorry. Because I watched him live. In fact, I did an Instagram video mimicking him when he was pointing up that all the cameras in the LCC, they're told that the cameras are up, that there's a camera up, there's a camera up. He was on live TV channel on Arise. He did that interview. And I have the clip. I make sure I screen recorded it so that it will not also delete history. And he kept on saying those cameras were up there and everything. So the expectation was that since you say the cameras are up there, it is a simple thing. Bring down the cameras and get the footages. The next thing, I think about a week or maybe the next week, there was no such thing as he didn't say there was no camera and all of that. I'm just wondering, why was there a dancing left, right, and center? Then I now saw someone I respect so much. I mean, he just made a ridicule of himself, the Minister for Works, coming to find a camera after there was a sweep clean of the entire crime scene. You now find a camera just waiting for you to be found. You know, so for me, all of those things it just further showed a lot of desperation, right? Desperation to want to kill the truth. And that was why for me it was easy for me to believe from the day one that everything that the youth said happened to them at that toll happened to them. And now, so for me, when I saw the report and it was like, I was reading it, it was verbatim. They talked about the cleaning of the crime scene by Loma. They talked about the LCCs holding them, what's it called? They were guilty of taking out all the cameras and everything from the crime scene, which were all the things that was said from day one, right? They talked about which one again? Army people coming to pick up corpses and in their trucks and taking off all those things. So everything that was said from day one, right? So why is there desperation to hide the truth? Is this that this is the beginning of the revolution or whatever it is that we're looking for in this country as people? Or what exactly is the real reason why this there's so much pressure to want to hide this truth?
Well, the pressure is because of DJ Switch. If that girl had not done that live Instagram, we would not even be sitting to have a report in the first place. And I'm sure God must have given her that wisdom. Yes, that do this. If not, it would have been swept under the carpet. And I think the Loma people, if they are 10, if they are 20 that came to do their job on that day, everybody should be fished out. The LCC people that was on duty in their offices because they couldn't come to the toll itself, everybody should be fished out. The armies that came there, because we saw even some of them, their names on their uniforms. Everybody, they know them. They should bring them out. Everybody needs to face. They need to face.
Well, Chinasa, let me come to the ladies, because I don't think it's actually fair for us to say the people that, because you are acting under instruction, shouldn't we be holding the instructors,
leaders responsible?
I think everyone has a role to play. I think everyone has a role to play.
I mean, come on, somebody say go kill people.
This is not. This is not a war. Wow. It was not a war. You were not defending the country against anything, any danger against the country. These were the citizens, the taxpayers that you are sworn to protect. For crying out loud, she said they had the flag. They were sitting down. There was no violence. Again, the report showed that there was really no reason why they should be there in the first place. The toll gate was not violent. People were organized. They were cleaning. They were coordinated. They were picking the we all saw it.
We see them. We see
them very
organized
every day. They were accountable. So you wouldn't say that they were public nuisance. They were not.
We had
Lagosians that wanted to go,
that would go to work in the morning,
exactly,
and come back there in the evening.
Lagosians that wanted to go to work were going to work.
Yes,
you get.
They were.
So why? Why did you? Because we cannot just hold the people that sent them responsible. I think that they also are responsible.
They need to
for pointing your gun and shooting at someone that was not attacking you, that was not doing anything to you, even if they sent you one.
And that's exactly what defines a massacre. When you kill people that are harmless, that didn't attack you. I mean, to what ends? Is it to shut us up? Is it to prevent us from agitating? Is it because you know you cannot respond to the demands, and then the next thing you think you can do is to shut people down? I think the government underestimated the power of social media.
That's right.
And that's why that information made public before they could curtail or control it.
And another thing they didn't see coming, when we're there for the first day, the second day they will get tired, they will leave. So we were surprised. Yes, so they were surprised the way even their own children was fighting them at home, and they were coming to the venue. Do you understand? So we saw a lot of support, restaurants, individuals.
A lot. It became a place where people could just
and they were selling food. Do you understand? It was a gathering of, we don't know if you had Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba. You are just a
For the first time with Nigerians.
Yes, you are just a Nigerian first. So that was what was displayed there. There was no stealing. In fact, there was a woman that some guys even had to raise over 5 million for her because she was there selling something. Yes, I remember. So they just started.
Even a lady that needs prosthetic leg.
Yeah. Do you understand?
There was
this unity. There was this unity, and this is something. At least since I was born in Nigeria, I've never seen such synergy and such unity. We had youth even coming from diaspora. They would just come into the country. Within that 1 week, they would get to their house and straight to the venue because they want a new Nigeria. We don't have another country to call our own.
We're not asking for too much.
Chinasa, what is justice for you? We have a report that reveal the truth of what happened. For once, I'm shocked again that document made public space. What is justice for you? Because for us here, we have shared pain, but for you it's a different experience entirely. You said that even before we came back that you had to leave the States because you could not survive the trauma and the psychological breakdown that you went through, going through all of that physically. So we all have shared pain and it's really different. What would make sense to you What do you think the government can do that would make you have a bit of a closure? Because even the parents don't even have their kids. A lot of people that you said were thrown into the water, no one could bury their kids.
I don't even know.
Well, justice for me is when everybody's brought to book. Everyone that was involved in that act. And to me, and justice for me, it's when henceforth no money should be collected at the toll.
The toll should cease to exist.
No, the toll can exist. They get tax and money from other places, but that place, money should not be collected.
After all the lives that were lost at that
and
spot.
that place should be renamed
Lekki Massacre.
Or not even Lekki, NSAS toll. Because you might use water to wash away blood, but those bloods are still there. And they're still asking for vengeance. In fact, each time I drive past Lekki toll, I have these goosebumps. I have this, it's like, it still plays back. It's as if I'm seeing them asking, you guys should fight for us.
There are different locations that the NSAS report is not coming out. Many are coming out, and you think people's spirit will rest. And guess what? The guy that gave the instruction is an envoy. I don't understand this message, but I've read it. You know what? Go ahead, please.
So we have a message from Celestin from Enugu. It says, now that the panel set up by the Lagos State government to investigate the NSAS protests of October 2020 has indicted the Nigerian Army and police, thereby confirming that there was indeed a massacre at the toll, will our Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, now resign for lying to millions of Nigerians that nothing of such happened? If he had any integrity, he would need to apologize to DJ Switch and the media giant CNN for calling them liars, who fabricated stories around the massacre. All those soldiers and cops who participated in the killing of innocent Nigerians on the night must be brought to book. Hashtag justice must be served. Hashtag rest in peace to the dead.
One thing that hurts me most is that lady did so much, put her life on the line. Whatever prompted her to be there and did all that she did, she still bear the brunt of the NSAS campaign. She had to leave the country.
Even,
she had to.
Dabiri has done a lot. That girl has, been back and forth. Even when DJ Switch was in hiding, Dabiri has been everywhere. She will go to the panel. Even there are some other guys, in the group, that has been at every, Banti police station and everything. But, I listened to the news on Tuesday or Wednesday, and when I heard the head of Army, and with all due respect, for that guy to have the effrontery, I would like to meet him one-on-one, to say that that they won't accommodate the comments coming out from the youth, talking about them, that they are professional, bodies, and you are bringing your professionalism over lives they were lost, instead of you to be in a sober reflection, in fact, even resigning.
But what would you have had? Let's be realistic, right? What would you have had the military and the police do when an instruction came from somewhere and the person is not coming out to say, I gave that order, right? An instruction came out, because don't forget that the training these people have is obey. You are not supposed to question.
You're supposed to be zombies, huh?
Yes, you're not supposed to question. So what would you have had that army do that night? Should they say no, they turn against the people,
their government,
they're
or
paying,
their leaders?
Their leaders? Because I don't understand. I get it, right? These people were harmless. And that's why we call it a massacre, because it is a massacre. Even when you are fighting one-on-one and the person does not have a weapon. If you watch Chinese movies, if a stick that the person brings, you said you look for a stick. If it's a sword, you bring your sword. If it is with hand, you see the person with a weapon will throw away his own weapon and he'll face you with their hands. That's how it's done. That brings fairness, right? So this has happened. What would you have had the army do? Because going forward, what if tomorrow things like this happen again and an instruction is given? Would you have them say, you know what, I'm not going to do this, and lose their life? Because sometimes when they go against the authorities, they lose their life in the process.
Well,
they are hung.
I feel, we want a Nigeria where people will look at their bosses in the face and say, this is wrong, I won't do it. It's happening all over the world. The least they can do is to
To
resign.
resign. Period.
You know, and Nigerians will honor you for life, and we are getting there. I believe so much in Nigeria. Nigeria will get there. Because there's so many people, even apart from the military, you work in a place where your boss wants you to do something that is not in the
Ethical.
Yeah, or in the value system of the company. And you just look at your boss in the face and say, do you know what? I don't think I can do this. Here's your job. So by the time one person does it, the second person does it, the third person does it, you remove your army, you remove your rank. Because if you are saying you can't do it, that means they are allowing power to, intoxicate them. That means you don't even have conscience. You don't have, and these people, they have children. Do you understand? I've had cases of police that has killed people, innocently. And today those police people are all more or less useless because they are being haunted. So why not do something right and let your conscience be free?
Because I'm just thinking, the economic...
they Fridays, can actually turn it down
Fridays
or even come there, see the way everybody sat down on the floor and just try to, just form a circle and just guide us. Not that you just start shooting.
No, you see, so Fridays are normally when we talk about things that has to do with business and economy. We talk about empowerment and money issues. You talked about these people having families. These people have families to take care of, right? So as far as they are concerned, they've said go and...
so you're justifying...
No, I don't think so. I'm justifying. I have valid questions.
Let us be realistic, Milola. Right?
So you get a kill order, you kill.
I do not. I don't think it's that direct.
I don't think that's what she's
supporting. Do you understand?
But these are questions that people
are asking. Right? Because you will say, okay, would you come out to feed my family? Even when this NSAS protest, they were fighting even for the welfare of the police. Did the policeman even understand how much that fight was more for him than against him? Do you understand? So I don't understand where we would find a way forward, because I do not see it ending now. It might not be NSAS tomorrow. It might be something tomorrow, because again, don't forget that the president actually, he almost gave a disposition like the NSAS protest was to topple his government over. He didn't see what we were talking about. He didn't see what we were clamoring for. What he was concerned about was the fact that you want to come and spoil my government. You want to come and take overthrow my government. That is what is in their heads. So I don't understand how we are going to fight this, right, without losing that, because I do not see this ending. If they are fighting so hard to try to cover up things that is already glaring in our faces, what gives tomorrow that another instruction will not come out again and something would happen again?
That's why I asked
do you know why another instructions will not come up? Is the way the youth took this up. We were not silent for a year.
Okay.
And even on that anniversary day, Lagos State government tried their best possible to
scare us.
Yes, but we still assembled. It just shows you that the spirit of those people that died are not silent. They are crying for justice.
Again, I want to mention, Uwa, what you have said is, I think, again, it's time for Nigerians to take, because if we do not take the action by changing leadership, and for me, there's a lot that bad leadership has done to us that is cancerous and eating everywhere. You've just addressed so many issues in your comment. You've addressed education, you've addressed poverty, you have addressed infrastructure. And when hungry people don't see beyond their nose, okay? And if we do not change the government, these are issues that even if we have a good government today, will take us years. It's like treating cancer. You would lose things, and maybe if you eventually survive, there's a part of your life that will never be the same. So even if we have a good government tomorrow, this heals. Sometimes I think that we do not even know what lack of education, only education even causes. Because that's what you're talking about. The people that you're fighting for do not recognize.
Don't recognize.
The people that disrupted this protest, were they the government? Even some people that were they police? They were not. There were people,
young people like us,
that the government has stolen from, that they will never understand, that the people that they're serving are the people that are their problem. So we're in a deep mess. And until we come out to consistently keep this tempo up, because it's a lot of work. It's okay. Somebody said that it's not a race. It's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. until we consistently run. Because I hear a lot of people say that thing was not a success. To me,
Exactly.
it was a huge
major
success. It was
Thank
a
you.
big
It was a major
step.
success.
And I hear people talk about it, and sometimes I don't argue because I just felt there's no need. I'm like, oh, it didn't work, and they keep talking, or lack of information. For me, I felt, and I still feel it is a giant step. All we need to do is to be consistently talking about it, just as we've done for the past 1 year, consistently doing it. Even water breaks rock with consistency.
You know, talking about one of the ways that we, in my own little way, I feel change will really happen in Nigeria is consistently talking about something. Like there was a day, I was on the road and you could literally see that this woman is exposed, well read, and she just finished eating and she threw it off from the car. I had to
take it upon yourself.
My friends, they know me, they say, I know Chinasa will do something. I just went to her, good afternoon, ma. I said, would you do this in England? She was like, call me Mabino. I said, then why would you do it? She was like, sorry. She parked and she asked her driver to go and pick it. Left to me, I wanted her to come down to go and pick it.
But at least you pushed the point.
So the other day I was at the airport in Abuja and I was coming back to Lagos. And the people at the airport, security asked us to, line up to, and we saw these people, supposed people that feel Nigerians belongs to them. They just came, and they came late. And they came in multitude, and just wanted to
jump the queue.
Yeah, and they called themselves some,
elite.
And that was how I just, in fact, the guy, he said, Chinasa, I know you are going to do something.
That's when I do it.
I just left the queue and I just stood in front of them. I said, you know what? And if you see these people, their skin is like glass, as if they don't see the sun. And I was like, and they were looking at me like, I said, see, Nigeria does not belong to you alone, and even Abuja does not belong to you people. I said, and if you cross this line, I swear down, even the manager of this, airline will be sacked. And they started speaking their language, murmuring. I said, you can murmur from now till next year. And by the time I started doing that, others joined me.
Yeah.
And I told the security guy, I said, guy, I just saw your name on your tag. If you try shit, you will get it hot. And they went to meet the guy. The guy said he cannot do anything because he doesn't know who this lady is.
Exactly.
It takes one man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So we have to keep talking.
We'll keep talking.
Yeah.
I mean, we have been talking about this for God knows how long. In fact, the whole of this week, I think 3 days was dedicated to this.
Anywhere you find yourself, someone is doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
Speak
Keep
out.
talking. All right. So truth could be stumped and subsumed by only a while. NSAS, that's what Loma the Prophet, I think from Uma here. Thank you so much. But thank you so much, Chinasa. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, Eke. I think we had a fantastic conversation.
We were taking on a journey.
Yes, honestly. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagrams at WayShowAfrica. You can interact with us further and drop a comment. And more importantly, we have started our giveaway. So just to say thank you to you for watching and believing in the Ways brand. So do well to follow the conversation. Follow us now is at WayShowAfrica to see all the goodies up for grab. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your family and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. When people can get away with crimes just because they are wealthy or have the right connections, the scales are tipped against fairness and equality. The weight of corruption then becomes so heavy that it creates a dent that forces the world to become slanted, so much so that justice just slips off. We'll see you guys on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.